Hello, it's Amanda from Suddenly Autistic, and it's been around a year-ish since I was diagnosed, or since I received my autistic diagnosis, and had everything finalised. So that's the ADHD came first, then the autism, generalised anxiety disorder, and PTSD, complex PTSD. So around a year ago, when I received confirmation of all of that package of information about me, I decided to start doing a little bit of a video log. And I think I might have started it before. I could look back, but anyway. Um, for my own benefit, for my own benefit to see, to process. I like to process my thoughts in words, or I like to externalize them. I like to get them out of my head because a lot of thoughts go on in my head. And once they're outside of me and given some form and shape, either in the form of sentences or it could even be a song, really, or something artistic or something like that, then it gives me the capacity to step back, or to reflect on it from a different way. So that's why I started making the videos, and I believe they have helped me and have also helped at least a couple of other people who've commented and who privately messaged me or had conversations with me, and that's lovely. It's always lovely to be able to resonate with other people. But what's most important for me is that these things are helping me to recover, not from being diagnosed autistic, but from the trauma of living a life for 47 years, nearly 48 now, where things are chaotic in your mind, and then as a consequence in some of your actions, because you don't know how to look after yourself, you don't know what you need, you don't know how to interpret yourself, read yourself, or what to how to benchmark, or set boundaries for yourself. So recovery has been a big part of this year, and the videos have been part of that. And this reflection is, I wanted to just put out there. I shouldn't say the word just is one of the words I was trying to get rid of, but there you go, it's still in there. But I'm putting this out there because there's three concepts that after reflecting on the year that was, three concepts that came up to me that I thought would be useful to share, and here they are. So one is time, the second is space, and the third is support. So not time and space as in Star Wars, but time as in the ticking clock, space as in creating space, and support is what it is, finding support. So if I start off with time, like I said, it's been a year and thereabouts since I got the diagnosis. And when I first got that, I imagined that I would take a year to let that sink in, and I would go through a process, and that there would be some kind of, systematic. Understanding, I've always understood that emotions and recovery and feelings are different, and it might take longer or shorter. However, my bias or my focus has often been, well, a year sounds about right, and I'll do this and I'll do that, and and I'm going to explore different parts of it, and hopefully by the end of the year I'll be done, and it will all be good, and I can then just move on with my life, with my new in knowledge of myself, and that will be that chapter closed. As it happens, as it turns out, the time is not the same for me as it is, or for this process, I should say. Time is the same for me. It's the same for everybody in terms of the clock ticking. But my response to time, I'm on my own timeline. And I think that's one of the things that I've learned through this process. My setting a goal for myself of recovering, or at least understanding, or unpeeling all the layers of the onion within the year, was interesting, and I can see that it would have come from a nice, neat, packaged idea that would make sense. You could turn it into a book, a video, a film, all of that kind of thing. People would understand, oh, my year in solitude, my year in self-recovery, blah, blah, blah. It sort of is a nice narrative, but that's all it is. It's not reality. And I have, as I've gone through my journey, I've learned to take my time, that it's important that I respect and take my time. One of the things that being neurodivergent means for me is that my processing speed is both faster and slower than the norm. And sometimes it is norm. But often in situations, I am taking in information from all over the place, and it might be in a very chaotic way, and then it's going to take me some time to filter that information, which I don't naturally do, or make sense of it or process it. Sometimes I start processing stuff that's the wrong stuff, and I'm not saying that in that there is good and bad or right and wrong stuff, but I might focus on a detail that's not that pertinent, and I have to bring myself back to that. So time, my understanding of time has been one thing that has really been crystallized throughout my recovery in a year, or my new self in a year. It's not that. For me, it's not that. A year is not for me. It will take the time it takes. And like I said, even though intellectually I would have understood that process before and would have said to somebody who's in a similar position like me, or in any grieving or whatever, oh yeah, it's different for everybody, it takes, just go with the flow. But actually saying that and intellectually, and then sitting with that and exploring that through my feelings and my actions, has been something that's been fairly new for me. So that's one of the things. The second thing, and I had to write this down because unfortunately one of the things I have noticed about processing what I'm doing is that my brain is tired, and there's some skills like memory, short-term memory recall, that are a little bit damaged at the moment, probably more so than they were before. I am hopeful that that will come back once I give myself the time I need. So that's time. Space is the other one. Now, what I wanted to say about this is that growing and changing and exploring my new reality let's just say growing and exploring a new reality requires space. It requires time and space. It requires an effort and an input, and there has to be space to do that, both physically. You have to have space to explore new things in different ways, so you need to have somewhere to go and do that, whether it's in your house or outside, whatever it is. But mentally, it also shifts things around. And one thing that I have been extremely grateful for my body for is that it appears that I have created the space for this new me, or new understanding of me. I haven't changed as much as changed my way of looking at myself. So what I mean by that is, it's that doing the work to integrate and understand and analyze and explore this new world of mine, the insight that the diagnosis has given me created the space on its own without the effort from me. So the effort was in the process of exploring, and then it was rewarded with the diagnosis and that opening up my mind and confirming to me. It was a bit like, the diagnosis is confirmed. I have been seen for the first time as for who I am, not who other people think I am. And I must say on that, for me, I feel lucky that I have received I've received formal diagnoses for these things, and that they resonate so strongly with me, and that they are empowering my change. I can understand that it would be completely traumatizing and extremely detrimental, to say the least. Traumatizing is detrimental if I had felt that these were the wrong diagnosis, and that does happen. So I'm extremely grateful for that. But in terms of space, I have enjoyed seeing, instead of me thinking, wow, now where am I going to put this new knowledge? What am I going to do? It's going to, my brain seems to have stretched almost like, it's just, everything's just gone, whoo, there was no energy or effort in that. There was capacity there all along that maybe I didn't see before, or the relaxation and the reduction in chaos and stress has made way for this new understanding of myself. So time is important, my own time. Space is important. My space was created for me. I didn't have to carry those and rearrange that furniture in my mind and my concept of myself. The third one is support. Now, whenever I suppose this is a fundamental change in the way that I have understood myself, and I can replay my history and look forward to my future and experience the here and now. One of the things that I learned and had reiterated in early therapy sessions that I'd done years ago was that the only thing we can control is how we respond, and that is very, very true. But and I don't like saying but, because it's an and, really, isn't it? It is very true, and it's also not possible when you have maybe a trauma background or something else. Your responses are not necessarily within your logical control. So, for example, what was happening to me for most of my life is that I can sit and rationalize things and not feel affected by something, or make choices about the actions that I'm going to take, but my body didn't get that message, and my body's reacting in a different way. Hence then the chaos, the exhaustion, the confusion, the lack of my cup being filled, or spilling the cup that's filled, whatever, all of that kind of thing. So support, feeling supported through the exploration process by both the therapist and also by family members and able friends, or even, to be honest, first yourself. So for me, I have supported myself. This was something that I wanted, something that I sought. I didn't go out saying, tell me I'm autistic. That's what I want to know, and I'll feel better when I know that. I actually didn't. I started to get an inkling that it might be me that's autistic quite late in the day of the journey of trying to find out, well, why was life so chaotic? The ADHD was more logical for me. The autism, I had a misunderstanding of what autism was like. Probably many people still do, although it is definitely coming on leaps and bounds. But I was supported in my journey to self-discovery by my partner, my husband, and that was really great. But what mattered most is I supported myself. I was open to that process, and it didn't matter what we found. I wasn't looking for a predetermined answer. I was looking for a reflection of my reality, that I actually didn't understand at that time. I was presenting with all these things, and I couldn't read my manual. My manual was in a different language to me. So I felt that was really good. In the last year, with that diagnosis, I have still felt supported. So I have had, the majority of this year, I've had on the dining table, we've got a sort of dining table in the kitchen area just here. I've had my scrapbooking out with my magazines, and I've been doing a lot of collaging of my thoughts and my feelings, and through the process of creating a collage, I've explored lots of different tricky or complex identity points, pain points, emotions, responses to stimulus, that kind of thing. And so I was supported in that by my husband, and there's just us two living in this part of the house now. He never once told me to move my stuff or, pack away or whatever. And fair enough, it's both of our houses. But, not everybody has that. Not everybody has that space to keep that out. And what I'd say about that, it wasn't trivial for me, because one of the things I struggle with my planning and ADHD, my brain capacity, is the actual finding things and getting myself organized, and then changing tasks. So it's a lot easier for me if I haven't finished a project, it's a lot easier for me to leave it out than keep putting it away at the end of a session, if you like. So I'm better off to just roll into the next day, and that's what then actually stimulates my creativity and allows me to reflect on things, and I can keep coming in backwards and forwards. So a lot of the collages I've done, which are really just for me, they've taken me a long time. They might have taken me, not all of them, some of them have taken me weeks to finish and to actually sort of glue into place because they didn't quite feel right, and I really appreciated that. But that seems like a very low sort of like trivial type of support, but that was everything. And the support that I have felt within myself through this journey and from my partner and just in general has been great. There hasn't been a lot of resistance. But what I'd like to say about support is that I think the majority of it comes from giving yourself permission to not indulge or have this luxury. Those are words that don't fit. This is actually a huge medical and physiological and psychotherapeutic, whatever it is. I don't know. I don't know what the word is. It's an emergency. Once you've been diagnosed with trauma and anxiety disorder, generalized anxiety disorder, that means that I can go into an anxious state at any time. And actually, people wouldn't necessarily know that because I don't manifest those things. They just eat away at my insides. So that's not going to be good for me. So this is a priority. It's not a luxury. It's a priority. And having support when you're going through that is a priority. And maybe some of the other things that you do day to day, like, sweeping the floor, washing the pots, going to work, 5 days a week, whatever it is, might have to take a back seat. And I was lucky that I was supported through that. And like I said, just letting me have my craft out on the table for the whole year, that's been pretty awesome too. Anyway, so my reflection on the year is that the last thing I'd say is about content and content creation and content planning, etc., etc. I didn't create this platform to become an expert on autism or ADHD or trauma or anything. I created this platform for personal reasons, and I think it's more like a video diary, and if people enjoy that, great. If they find it entertaining, that's fine. If they find it resonates with them on some level, that's humbling. That's great. That's really nice. And that's how it is. And as such, I need to take my time in creating the content. I can't do scheduled content like this. These feelings and thoughts don't come on a Monday at 5 a.m. or on a Wednesday at 2 in the afternoon. They come when they come. And sometimes they flood in, I might have 3 or 4 different concepts going on and light bulb moments, and other times I don't. And while I might be able to, when I've got a run on and I've got lots of things in my head and coming out, I might be able to schedule those things so I'm not just bombarding 5 things at a time. But I'm not doing this as a job. I follow a lot of people who are neurodivergent, and I am both in awe with such complex minds and personal situations that people do stick to a schedule or have a schedule. And I'm aware that some people, especially autistics, but not entirely, but some people thrive on schedules and find that boosts their creativity, keeps them accountable and whatever. But that's not me, and I can't do that. So what I'm basically saying there is, if you are subscribed to the channel, I really appreciate it. But it's not going to be a weekly update ever. I mean, things, they are what they are. It's a mental health journey. It's my mental health journey. It's my physical journey. It's my family's journey. And that will take the time it takes. It will take up the space it needs. And I hope I have your support on that. And if I don't, I'm probably going to carry on doing it anyway. And I feel fine about that, actually. Thanks for watching.